Hello everyone, कैसे हैं आप सब? So this is part 4 of the chapter Contemporary South Asia. And till now in this chapter we have discussed the South Asian region as a whole, the geographical features of the region, the politics in different countries, political history of different countries in short, and their struggle for democracy. Now, in this part of the chapter, I'm going to discuss India's relations with all its neighboring countries in the region, and I'll begin with the most significant and most important neighbor for India, most troublesome neighbor for India also, that is Pakistan. So, Indo-Pakistan conflicts, the history goes back to 1947 when both of these countries were created by dividing the British India. Okay, so since that time, there has been a conflict over the issue of Kashmir between India and Pakistan. Now, in detail, how this issue originated is there in another chapter. So, in detail, I'll be discussing it over there. But you all know that Kashmir was an independent state with majority of the population being Muslim, but it was ruled by a Hindu Raja, Hari Singh. Okay, so the circumstances in which Kashmir integrated with India were very unique, and Pakistan didn't accept this integration of Kashmir with India and attacked India in the year 1947 itself. So the first war between India and Pakistan was fought in 1947-48 over the issue of Kashmir. Now this war ended in December 1948 with the mediation of UN, and because of the UN ceasefire that was declared in the region, some areas of Kashmir came under the control of Pakistan, which now are called the Pakistan Occupied Kashmir, POK. Okay, and there is a line of control that exists between India and Pakistan in the Kashmir region. Okay, so time and again, Pakistan has tried to occupy Kashmir, and three wars were fought between India and Pakistan over the issue of Kashmir alone itself. That was in 1965. Again, Pakistan tried to capture Kashmir, and in 1999, the Kargil conflict. Okay, this 1970 war was fought between India and Pakistan over the issue of the liberation of Bangladesh, which I have already discussed in the chapter. So, in total, we have had till now four wars. We have fought four wars with Pakistan. That is direct confrontation between India and Pakistan, the last being the Kargil War of 1999, when the few Pakistani troops who said Pakistan said that they were not the Pakistani troops, but India had enough evidence to support India's claim that they were Pakistani troops. They had infiltrated into the Kargil region and they had occupied the empty post led by the Indian forces there. And then when India got to know about this, then India fought back and reoccupied the post. So that is Kargil conflict. We have all this in detail in another chapter where I'll be telling you in detail about these wars. Okay, other issues of conflicts between India and Pakistan, strategic issues are control over the Siachen Glacier. You all know that our forces are continuously stationed there throughout the year in temperature which are very difficult to live in such circumstances, only for the reason because Pakistan is always trying to control the Siachen Glacier and the acquisition of arms. Now, when the acquisition of arms comes, it is the acquisition of nuclear weapons. Okay, so always it happens that when India conducts a test of a missile or India conducts nuclear test, then Pakistan reciprocates that very shortly. So that's what exactly happened when India conducted its nuclear test in 1998. Pakistan reciprocated after a few weeks and it conducted nuclear test in the Chagai Hills of Pakistan. Okay, and then there are issues like direct war there had been four direct war in between India and Pakistan, but now it seems that Pakistan has intensified on its strategy of bleeding India through thousand cuts. What is that? It has been aiding Kashmiri militants. It has been giving logistic and strategic support to Kashmiri militants. Training camps are run by the Pakistani army in the POK region where the Kashmiri militants are trained, and then they help the militants to infiltrate in India. And there have been enough evidence to show that the terrorist attacks in India, various terrorist attacks in India in the past, have been funded, controlled, masterminded in Pakistan. Like the Pulwama attack, the Parliament attack, very gruesome crimes against India. And India has given enough supports, enough evidence to support its claim that all these attacks had been masterminded in Pakistan. Then Pakistan also aided the Khalistani militants in the past. There had been a Khalistan movement in India in the 1980s. What was this Khalistan movement? The Khalistani groups, they wanted to break away Punjab from India. It was a secessionist movement, and they wanted to create a separate state of Khalistan in Punjab. So these Khalistani groups were supported with arms and ammunitions from Pakistan. Another thing is that the spy agency, you all must have heard this name, ISI, the Inter-Services Intelligence of Pakistan. It is involved in various anti-Indian campaigns in the northeast, and they are operating from Bangladesh and Nepal. Okay, but it's not that only India is blaming Pakistan of creating troubles in our territory. Pakistan has also blamed India of flourishing trouble in its Sindh region and its Balochistan region. The Balochistan region has a lot of complaints against the Pakistani government, and the movements in Balochistan, Pakistan says that it is fueled by India. Okay, then the other issues are which have been, like there had been a settlement over the Indus water dispute, the water of the river Indus. A treaty was signed between India and Pakistan, that is called the Indus Water Treaty in 1960, and this treaty was mediated by the World Bank. I remember that once this question had come as a one marker in the board exams, that the Indus Water Treaty was mediated by which institution, which organization, and many of the students had written IMF and they lost one mark over there. So please remember, this is World Bank. Okay, World Bank mediated the Indus Water Treaty between India and Pakistan. Now the countries, there are various border issues, and the border issues lie in the Sar Creek region in the Rann of Kutch. Now Rann of Kutch, you all must be knowing, falls in Gujarat, and so the border area in that actually that is a swampy area, so the borders are not very clear, and there the border dispute exists between India and Pakistan. But the most important thing is in the recent past, the relations between India and Pakistan has become very sour. The reason being that Pakistan had planned many terrorist attacks over India, like the Pulwama attack, the Uri attack. So because of these attacks, the reapproachment process that had begun in the past, like a bus service was started between India and Pakistan. Train service was started between India and Pakistan. Cultural exchanges, economic exchanges, visa restrictions had been relaxed, and visas were being issued more easily than ever. But again, because of these activities, the relations between India and Pakistan had worsened a lot. And all these things, the bus services, the train services have been stopped, and the cultural exchanges, like now the Pakistani artists are banned from performing in India. So these things have spoiled relations between India and Pakistan, and the recent snapping of Article 370, giving a special status to Kashmir. Pakistan has internationally objected to it, raised serious objections over it. So all these things taken together has spoiled Indo-Pakistan relations in the past, and now we have to see in future that how these relations will and can be improved. Okay, so now the next country that is I'm going to discuss is Bangladesh. Bangladesh, you all have seen, has experienced both democracy and dictatorship in the past. Bangladesh is a country that's birth was very much assisted by India. We fought a war with Pakistan in 1971, supporting the liberation of the Bangladesh, supporting the Bangladesh liberation movement. Okay, but soon after the various issues of conflicts emerged between India and Bangladesh, the most important being the illegal migrants. Now you remember that because of the Pakistani army's action during the 1971 Bangladesh liberation movement, many migrants, many people had migrated to India, and India had always been demanding Bangladesh to take these people back, but the settlements on this is disputed a lot. Then India says that Bangladesh has supported Indian anti-Indian Islamic fundamentalist groups from its soil. Bangladesh has refused to allow the Indian military. It has not given a passage to Indian military to move from its territory to the northeast. Now you all know that northeast region is very less, like the connectivity of northeast with the mainland of India is very weak. There is only one passage. So Indian military had asked for a passage through Bangladesh to reach to northeast faster, but this Bangladesh had denied. There had been border disputes as well between India and Bangladesh, and Bangladesh has blamed India for acting as a regional bully. Actually, this is the allegation of almost all the neighboring countries of India, that India acts as a hegemon in the region. Now, how to say, what to say about this? Because if you see India, India is the biggest country in the region, both territorially, population wise also, and centrally located. सारे countries से India अपना border share कर रहा है, तो उसका जो presence है in the region is dominant for the obvious reasons. तो ये सारे countries इसके लिए object करते हैं कि India bully की तरह से act करता है in the region. Okay, now what are the issues of cooperation? Economic relations between India and Bangladesh have improved in the past. हमारे economic ties बहुत strong है. Bangladesh is a part of India's Look East policy, which I have already discussed under the ASEAN. Disaster management और environmental issues पे India and Bangladesh का cooperation रहा है. Next country जो है वो है नेपाल. Nepal, issues of conflict between India and Nepal is China majorly. Nepal is coming close a lot to China, and this is a major cause of concern for India because Nepal is like a buffer state between India and China. तो अगर नेपाल चाइना से क्लोज होता है, जबकि हमेशा से इंडिया ने नेपाल को हर तरह से मदद की है, सो ये दैट इज इशू ऑफ कंसर्न. Then Maoist activities in Nepal, the Maoist parties, the communist parties in Nepal have become very powerful. Right now also there is a communist government in Nepal, Maoist party की government है, तो that is also an issue of concern. फिर नेपाल कहता है कि India has been interfering in its internal affairs and India has not been giving access to sea and exploiting its resources. That is what Nepal says with regard to India. Now issues of cooperation क्या है? सबसे बड़ा है इंडिया और नेपाल के बीच एक ट्रीटी एग्जिस्ट करती है जो साइन हुई थी 1949 में, एंड अकॉर्डिंग टू दिस ट्रीटी द सिटीजन्स ऑफ बोथ द कंट्रीज कैन ट्रैवल टू ईच अदर्स कंट्री विदाउट एनी पासपोर्ट और वीज़ा. ये बहुत बड़ी बात है कि वीज़ा रिस्ट्रिक्शन और पासपोर्ट रिस्ट्रिक्शन नहीं है बिटवीन इंडिया एंड नेपाल, एंड both the countries' citizens can even reside in each other's countries and practice their professions. तो ये सबसे बड़ा जो टाई है वो इंडिया और नेपाल को बांधता है एक दूसरे से. फिर ट्रेड एंड साइंटिफिक इश्यूज, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेशन, इन सारे इश्यूज पे काफ़ी एक्सचेंजेस बिटवीन इंडिया एंड नेपाल हैज़ हैपेंड. Now children, don't ignore these issues of conflicts and cooperation. It comes as 4 marker. Many a times, almost every year, one question from this side that right two issues of conflict and cooperation between India and Nepal, or India and Bangladesh, or India and Pakistan, India and Bhutan, all this has come in the board exams. Okay, देन इंडिया एंड श्रीलंका कॉन्फ्लिक्ट आप समझ चुके हैं क्या था पास्ट में, जब इंडियन पीस कीपिंग फोर्सेस को भेजना पड़ा था, वहाँ का जो सिविल वॉर था, इन दैट इंडिया हैड गॉट डायरेक्टली इंगेज इनटू द सिविल वॉर. बट आफ्टर द विड्रॉल ऑफ द IPKF फ्रॉम श्रीलंका, after the withdrawal of the IPKF from Sri Lanka, India has followed a policy of disengagement in Sri Lanka. अब इंडिया उनके इस सिविल वॉर से रिलेटेड मैटर में कोई इंटरफेयर नहीं करता है. खैर अब तो वो सिविल वॉर खत्म भी हो गई है, तो कोई सवाल भी नहीं उठता है. नाउ व्हाट आर द इश्यूज ऑफ कोऑपरेशन? इंडिया हैज साइंड FTA विद श्रीलंका. FTA क्या होता है? फ्री ट्रेड एरिया. अब ये फ्री ट्रेड एरिया का क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है कि अगर दो कंट्रीज आपस में FTA साइन करते हैं तो द ट्रेड रिस्ट्रिक्शंस between these countries are minimized, और free trade उन दोनों countries के बीच होता है. Then in post tsunami reconstruction, you all know that in 2004 this region was hit by tsunami, and the south coast of India as well as Sri Lanka were badly affected. बहुत बड़ा loss हुआ था, both human and physical loss जो था वो बहुत बड़ा था, and India had helped Sri Lanka a lot in this time of crisis. So that has strengthened the relations between India and Sri Lanka. Then we have a very nice country, Bhutan, towards the north, country that is a peace loving country, I would say. तो इनसे भूटान से हमारा कोई भी मेजर कॉन्फ्लिक्ट नहीं है. बहुत सालों तक भूटान remained our protectorate state. And Bhutan has helped India to weed out guerrillas and militants operating. ये यहाँ भूटान से जो भी militants operate करते थे in the north east region, उसको भूटानीज गवर्नमेंट ने पूरी तरीके से ख़त्म किया. इंडिया इज़ द बिगेस्ट सोर्स ऑफ द डेवलपमेंट एड टू भूटान. मैंने आपको अभी बताया कि बहुत टाइम तक भूटान रिमेंड आर प्रोटेक्टोरेट स्टेट ऑल्सो. सो बहुत एड इंडिया देता है भूटान को. एंड इंडिया इज़ इन्वॉल्व इन टू बिग हाइड्रो इलेक्ट्रिक प्रोजेक्ट्स इन भूटान. तो ये है हमारे रिलेशंस भूटान के साथ. फिर मालदीव्स की टोटल हिस्ट्री मैंने आपको बताई, पॉलिटिकल हिस्ट्री इन द लास्ट वीडियो, एंड आई टोल्ड यू दैट since the coming of the new government in Maldives in 2018, relations between India and Maldives have improved a lot. उसके पहले भी हमारे मालदीव्स के साथ बहुत ही अच्छे रिलेशंस रहे हैं. November 1988 में Maldives was attacked by the Sri Lankan Tamil mercenaries. Okay, and Indian forces quickly acted, और तुरंत ही जाकर उन्होंने इस अटैक को जो है वो फेल किया था. Okay, so we saved Maldives from the Sri Lankan Tamil mercenaries in 1988, and then you all know that Maldives is a big tourism destination. जो कहते हैं 5 स्टार टूरिज्म होता है, जो हाई प्रोफाइल सेलिब्रिटी टूरिज्म होता है, उसके लिए मालदीव्स बहुत जाना जाता है. एंड इंडिया हैज़ हेल्प्ड इन द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ दिस टाइप ऑफ टूरिज्म in Maldives and the fishery industry of Maldives. Now, I told you in the last video, and just to give you a quick reminder of that, Yameen's, after the Yameen's government was overthrown, it was said during the Yameen's government, Maldives were going close to China, and that was an issue of concern for India. बट अब जो न्यू गवर्नमेंट ये आई है उसने ओपनली ये कहा है कि जो सोली की गवर्नमेंट आई है, उन्होंने ओपनली सोली ने कहा है कि वी आर गोइंग टू हैव वेरी गुड एंड वार्म रिलेशंस विद इंडिया. So that is a good sign for India and Maldives both. Okay, so these are basically the conflicts between India and the neighbors in the country. Now if you remove India from the picture for a time being, और देखते हैं कि कोई ऐसा कॉन्फ्लिक्ट और भी रीजन है जहाँ इंडिया नहीं इन्वॉल्व है. सो दिस हैज़ कम फॉर टू मार्कर लाइक सारे बच्चे इंडिया और अदर कंट्रीज का कॉन्फ्लिक्ट तैयार करके गए थे, और आया ये कि जहाँ इंडिया नहीं है और वो 2 कॉन्फ्लिक्ट हैं जहाँ पे मतलब मेंशन 2 कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स इन द साउथ एशियन रीजन वेयर इंडिया इज नॉट इन्वॉल्व. ओके, so first is between Nepal and Bhutan over the migration of the Nepalese into Bhutan. Okay, this issue of conflict, then you must have heard of conflict between Bangladesh and Myanmar recently over the migration of the Rohingyas. Okay, and then there are issues between Bangladesh and Nepal over the sharing of the river of the Himalayan, sharing of the water of the Himalayan rivers. So these three issues are mentioned in the chapter. Okay, so don't ignore them. Now this is related to India's relations with other countries, and in the next video, otherwise this video will become very long. In the last video of the chapter, I'm going to discuss SAARC. So what is SAARC and how it came into existence? What are the basic principles, areas in which it is cooperating, and why it is not as successful as it was conceived to be? So all these things I'll be discussing in the last chapter on the video. This chapter is really long for the simple reason that we have to discuss around 7 countries in the region and India's relations with these countries as well. So and just keep reading and keep watching these videos, because a lot has to be kept in mind, learned regarding India's relations with all these countries. So I hope that these videos are helping you. Just give me a feedback and I'll try to improve further depending on your feedback. So thank you for watching. Keep learning, stay fit, stay fine. Bye bye.